Well, I believe my dad had a grand plan for me. Starting out in elementary school and junior high, started painting all the signs for the company. We put on all the background color, and then it would go to the stencil company. After that, did all the yard work. Worked on a yard crew for the corporate houses. And every time we got one finished, did the yard, mowed the lawn, and got the beds in shape, the house would sell. One of the lots we ended up, my dad purchased for my college fund. And so I got to watch that lot go up in value over the years. And I could probably still drive up there right now and show you which lot it was. At the time I got out of college and started working with Tom Hermsen, we would go up in small airplanes from Bellevue Municipal Airport. And a few times we went up by float plane. We'd take off from Lake Washington. But we'd go up in the planes, we'd have our maps, we'd be able to look down and see where the roads were so we could see where we were on our maps and see where the vacant property was. Next to a development, or we'd have it on the map where the sewer line extensions were going, so we could see where the next logical place was to purchase property. And that really worked. Nowadays, of course, we have computers and you can just look on the computer to see everything. But back then, it was quite innovative to get up above and take a look. It was a whole different perspective.
Lennox and I go a long ways back. My father worked for John L. Scott, and he started in the early 60s. So Lennox and I knew each other as actually young boys in our early teens, I would imagine, probably maybe even before that time. So in 1977, our market was made up of a series of very small building companies. Typically, a building company that would build 3 to 5, 3 to 7 houses a year was not uncommon. We would have a lot of subdivisions, a lot of new communities where it wasn't uncommon to have 20 individual different building companies building in one community. Now that's certainly changed. In the last 5 years, we've had a lot of large national publicly held building companies that have moved into our market, and that has really changed the dynamic. Well, small builders, medium-sized builders, and even large national builders ultimately are looking for the same thing. They're looking for great salespeople. And it's important to me, and important to John L. Scott, that we appropriately place salespeople in the best environments, A, for them to succeed, but ultimately the goal is to make sure that those agents are matched up with the communities that they're placed in.
John L. Scott agents sell a lot of our homes, not just our John L. Scott agents in the franchise that we own, but company-wide franchise and corporately owned offices. I think what appealed to us the most was the iconic image of John L. Scott. It's a well-branded company, and we're a well-branded company. It seemed like it was a really good fit. They have a good following. They had good tools for us to be able to use. We were excited about having the John L. Scott logo on our signage. It meant a lot to the consumers that would come to our neighborhoods to see that they were, that we were actually selling them with licensed real estate people. I think that was always a little confusing when we had just our company that didn't have a very branded name. Well, I think when we started 2012, none of us thought that the market would be nearly as hot as it is right now. We started out, January was a little slow, but by February we had taken off, and by the end of July we had met our year projections.
First, we all know Lennox has great enthusiasm, and we're very fortunate to have such a leader in our industry in this region. And secondly, the John L. Scott, be it from individuals like David Mills, Bill Hermey, all the way through to even our own site agents like Jamie Ham, have always been agents that are very professional and really carry themselves incredibly well. And is that because of Lennox and his, and what he expects of his agents? To some part, that must be it, because consistently John L. Scott produces or hires some of the best agents throughout the region, and we're very fortunate to have a relationship with John L. Scott. Why is continuing education so important? Really simply, in today's ever-changing world, we have to keep up. And in our region, it seems obvious, be it technology, be it all the different cultures and ethnicities we have, or just the new product, is that if we don't continue to keep up, we're going to fall behind. And very fortunate to have companies like John L. Scott who value education and know if we're going to be here tomorrow, we got to start today.
I decided to earn the NCS designation because I took new construction as a focus in my business in about 2010 with the gut feeling that new construction was what was going to lead us out of the economic downturn. And anytime I take on a new role or a new focus in my business, I think it's important to educate myself and create mastery in whatever subject. John L. Scott has a really long history of being very involved in new construction, and I think with this new market that we're in, they're really taking the leading edge with the support that they're giving their agents, both in training and in the opportunities that are provided. I really see John L. Scott being at the forefront of new construction sales.
So one of the largest challenges with local and small builders is how can they compete, how can they get their message out? And as their sales and marketing support that John L. Scott offers is how do we help them in those efforts. And with our website, it has always been nationally recognized, and currently we receive over 1.4 million hits per month and 300,000 unique visitors. And John L. Scott is uniquely positioned as a leader in both new construction and luxury and relocation, that we can actually pull this off and be a credible source for consumers to depend on for searching for new construction.
The future of John L. Scott in new construction is bright. It's inherent in us in representing builders, in seeking out properties, to work with them to develop the product to sell to the home buyers. It's such an exciting business to make an impact in the community.